I want more done. That's why I wanted Bernie Sanders to win. I was all in for Bernie. But you know what? I'm going to scrap for every single thing I can, every single day, to make people's lives better, because I've seen too much. I've seen people lose their homes. I've seen people not be able to afford health care. I've seen people quit school because they couldn't afford tuition. I'm not giving in one bit because it's not good enough for me. I'm scrapping for every fucking thing I can for the working class. And I'm not going to stop.
Let's mold in the Central Committee. Let's cringe in the Central Committee. Let's bog in the Central Committee right now.
Can I mauled, chat? Let's mauled. I like Katie too.
Did anyone watch the Crystal Ball's interview with Bernie Sanders?
I saw the clip that was circulating.
We should do a Mystery Science Theater of it. You know, when
With
we watch it,
silhouettes at the bottom of the,
and we like comment on it.
yeah.
How was it?
It was frustrating. You know, it was frustrating to watch. I saw one person tweet, Bernie usually sounds so fluid and possessed in interviews because he doesn't have to, sell you something like a politician, because he is being authentic and is selling you what's good and truthful. When he's having to sell Biden's agenda, it doesn't come out so smoothly.
Okay, I gotta say, people have not been paying attention to Bernie Sanders at all. Maybe you created a version of Bernie Sanders in your mind that never existed, because I've been watching Bernie Sanders for a long time. And after I found out about him, I went back and looked at his career, in the House and as a mayor of a city. Now, you are not a mayor of a city without doing concrete things in reality and making compromises. Oh, no. The question is whether your values have been compromised, or whether you are actually doing what you said you were going to do, or whether you are selling out for some other personal benefit. Bernie Sanders is trying to do a $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill, the likes we haven't seen since the New Deal. And that involves working with people that are centrist scum. That's what's happening right now. If you don't think $3.2 trillion of domestic spending is something worth fighting for, you don't know what $3.5 trillion means. And yes, he's not going to go and run like a campaign. It's not the campaign anymore. He gains nothing by shitting on Biden. Politics is not just a campaign. It's also another part after the campaigns are over and you have to spend years working with people. And then the campaigns come, and then you can assert what you think is the authentic right thing to do and try to win as many seats as possible. But when you're not in campaign mode, you're in governing mode. This is basic shit. Sunshine Dre, thanks for the 5-tier. I mean, what are you talking about? Banshee Queen, thanks for the if you don't want to listen, if you don't like the sausage being made, go watch the Olympics or something, man.
And I thought that was a pretty good encapsulation of it. I mean, I've said something similar. I wouldn't be a spokesperson for someone unless I agreed with them 99% of the time, because I just can't. I'm not a good liar. I don't have a poker face. And it feels like every elected representative is now in the position, whether they have to be or whether it's a choice, of doing comms for Joe Biden to one degree or another. And it making a lot of folks look a lot less rosy than they did before. You should pull it up. We should respond.
And so when I hear her say, I couldn't be a spokesperson for someone I didn't agree with 99% of the time, have you considered that maybe you shouldn't be a spokesperson for anyone? Have you considered that maybe being directly involved with politics is not really your forte? Because there's something very selfish in that statement, right? There's something very selfish and frankly liberal about it. And I'm gonna be honest with you. This is liberalism, because on the left we have something called solidarity. I'll give you an example that's concrete and not just rhetoric. When you're in a union and the question of whether or not to sign a contract or strike comes up, the union has a debate. They have a conversation. And then they get together and they vote on it democratically. And if the side that wants to sign the contract wins, you sign the contract. If the side that wants to have a strike wins, you have a strike. Whether you agree with it or not. And then when you go out in the world and you're talking to people about the decision your union made, you 100% back the collective will. You don't go out there and say, my union's fucking stupid. I can't believe they're doing a strike. We're going to lose. I'm thinking about crossing this picket line. You don't do that. Whether you thought the strike was a good idea or not, you march that picket line. You fucking support your brothers and sisters and your non-binary pals. And you fucking get the hell out there. And you do the work, whether you had agreed with it or not. You show some goddamn solidarity with people. And you don't go, well, you know, I didn't agree with it, so it's not good. Okay, fucking liberal. Your personal beliefs are important, and you should not go in contradiction of your values. And there are some things that you should absolutely not do. But the idea that Bernie Sanders going on there and saying, listen, you're wrong about what's going on behind the scenes. Joe Biden is pressuring people to get HR1 or done or not. That's not a sign of Bernie Sanders being a sellout. That's Bernie Sanders trying to explain to you that something very important is going on, and he's not going to go out there and act like a fucking internet influencer and attack people personally when it's not true. Your personal beliefs are not what we're fighting about here. Okay? We're fighting about movements, about policies. We're fighting for some real shit. You either get with the program or fuck off.
To it.
Hey, Alex.
Is prepared to deal with. I have not seen a president in my lifetime who has done that. Am I wrong?
I see that perspective, but I also see a president who's willing to let a lot of those agenda items be killed by the filibuster and the parliamentarian.
Well, but again, I don't want to defend him. I think the point you made a few minutes ago is exactly right. In this critical moment, when we're dealing with the future of the planet, when we're dealing with the future of democracy, you know what? I think majority should rule and not the. I believe that strongly. But don't think that he can snap his fingers, no matter what he may or may not believe, and make things happen. All right, there are senators.
There are certain things he could do, though, through executive, for example, canceling student debt.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. There are things he can do.
Legalizing marijuana.
Yes.
He could potentially do through an executive order. And
this is not Bernie defending Biden. He's agreeing. What are they talking about? What the fuck are they talking about? He's saying, yeah, they can do that. Yeah, they can legalize weed. And he didn't. That's why I ran for president. But he said he wasn't going to do those things. And he's keeping his promises. Do you want me to sit here and relitigate the issues that I disagree? Like, what the fuck is the point of that? Joe Biden's not up for election, man. What do you want from people? What are you talking about?
There hasn't been a
well, he can't snap his fingers to make that happen. He's talking about the filibuster. He's talking about the filibuster. Bernie Sanders is right. Joe Biden can't snap his fingers and make the filibuster go away. That's true. Kirsten Sinema exists. All these people exist. They do. They do. I don't know what to tell you. They do exist. I think Joe Biden's weak shit, and Joe Biden is not using the bully pulpit, and Joe Biden is not pressuring those people enough. I'm sure that's true.
Willingness, even though he says, yes, I support the $15 minimum wage. Yes, I support the PRO Act, to use all the tools that are at his disposal to actually make those things happen.
You're absolutely sure of that?
Is that fair?
No. I mean,
so when Bernie says, are you absolutely sure of that? He's talking about things that are happening behind the scenes. This is the position that Bernie Sanders is in. I'm the only one who apparently can tell you guys the truth. And you can make your own decisions about whether this is wrong or not. Bernie Sanders is having these conversations behind the scenes. He is being told and Joe Biden is pressuring these people. He may even be in the room when it's happening. The question that Bernie Sanders has, I have the question for you. Let's say Bernie Sanders is being Bernie Sanders and telling the truth, and Joe Biden is saying, Joe Manchin, you've got to do this. You've got to do this. And Joe Manchin is saying, well, sir, I want to do it, but. Is Bernie Sanders going to go out there and say, Joe Biden is a piece of shit and distract from the pressure that's being put on Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema by other people and make it about himself and go, they're not doing it. They're scumbags. They're never. Blah, blah, blah. Is he supposed to do that? And then have on all the media Bernie Sanders sabotaging Joe Biden presidency. Bernie Sanders attacks centrists. Bernie Sanders makes it about himself. Is he supposed to do that? What is that actually going to accomplish? I would like to know. I would like to know what Bernie Sanders is supposed to do. He's supposed to go out there and distract from the pressure being exerted. And by the way, that would give them an out. That would give all the centrists an out. Right now, if you don't know this, chat, if you only pay attention to far left personalities, which is totally legit, if you don't, but what's happening right now is a lot of people who are in the center are starting to hate Kyrsten Sinema. A lot of the people in the center are starting to hate Joe Manchin. They're losing credibility. The centrists right now are losing credibility with a lot of normie Dems. A lot of normies right now are like fucking pissed off at Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. That's what's actually true. That's happening. Now, is it happening fast enough? No. Welcome to boring politics. Welcome to reality. Welcome to the trenches where gaining an inch is a bloody struggle. That is what's happening right now. That's what's happening right now. They hate them, but they make up excuses, Mike. Well, some of them do. Most people are dumb, like, what the fuck? True. Normies don't know who Joe Manchin is. Okay, we all have a different definition of normie. Okay, we have a different definition of normie. We all have a different definition of normie. I'll explain to you what I mean by it so we not have a semantic argument over 10 minutes over what normie means. Okay, I'm sorry. We're using English, which means we have equivocations, and everybody's own personal definition of normie is entering the conversation. Let me say what I'm talking about. I'm talking about MSNBC watching mind woms. I'm talking about people that consider themselves Democrats. All right? People that wear the blue jersey. They're starting to hate Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. But Mike, what's the proof of that? What are you talking about? You're just making things up now. New poll. Arizona Democrats love Biden and Kelly. Kyrsten Sinema, not so much. These kind of numbers could encourage a serious primary challenge from the left. This was 2 weeks ago. What Bernie Sanders is doing is working. Welcome to the glacially slow experience of losing an election and trying to gut things out. We are ripping across Kyrsten Sinema. You want to help Bernie Sanders? Bash Kyrsten Sinema. Bash Joe Manchin. Bash the people that say they're against getting rid of the filibuster. Get out there. Help Bernie. Make her approval rating go lower. Put the fear of God in her. That's what you have to do. Behind the top lines, there are some ominous numbers for Sinema's long-term standing back home. Democratic voters overwhelmingly support a $15 minimum wage, according to the server. Sinema drew ire of the activists this spring for casting a largely symbolic vote against adding such a minimum wage hike to the coronavirus stimulus package. They support getting rid of the legislative filibuster and overwhelmingly back the PRO Act, which would expand rights and protections for labor unions, which Sinema has not signed on to. After voters read a script linking the filibuster to Republican obstruction, 66% of Democrats said if given the chance in 2024 Senate primary, they would vote for a different candidate who got rid of the filibuster. It's starting to work, man. Don't say Bernie doesn't have a plan when Bernie's plan is working.
I mean, in other words, you do not know about the discussions that he has with people who walk into his office.
Okay.
No, it's wrong to assume that when you're dealing with a United States senator who does not want to end the filibuster, that he can go in there and say, hey, I want you to do that. No. So don't give the president...
Although he could do what you proposed when you were asked on the trail, how would you deal with Senator Manchin? You said, I go to West Virginia. I'd do the rally.
Yep.
I'd call him out.
Right. I mean, there are things you could do. All that I'm saying, do not minimize. I mean, and I don't want to get into personalities,
True, he is.
but
Sure.
He
any
is.
member of the United States Senate has the power to kill this thing. And to think that the president alone can change that is not 100% correct.
Sure. But there are executive actions that he could
All
take
right,
on
look,
student
look.
debt and other things that
All
he
right,
could do.
look.
Okay. So here's the problem. Here's what Bernie Sanders is saying. Bernie Sanders is saying, I'm writing $4.5 trillion for domestic spending in this country, for green jobs, for public transit, for real shit, for public housing. Tens of billions of dollars for public housing. We haven't seen that since the 60s, man. He's saying we're doing real shit that I need every Democrat to support to get order to pass it. For this reconciliation bill to happen, I need every Democrat, Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin. I'm not gonna throw that in the trash for cheap social media clout that goes away in 2 days. I'm doing real shit to change people's lives for the next decade. That's what he's concerned about. Now, if that's not the Bernie Sanders you like, fuck off. Go fantasize about your, we the people, your 20 voter fucking campaign. Get the fuck out. I want more done. That's why I wanted Bernie Sanders to win. I was all in for Bernie. But you know what? I'm going to scrap for every single thing I can, every single day to make people's lives better because I've seen too much. I've seen people lose their homes. I've seen people not be able to afford health care. I've seen people quit school because they couldn't afford tuition. I'm not giving in one bit because it's not good enough for me. I'm scrapping for every fucking thing I can for the working class. And I'm not going to stop. If this makes you want to quit, go fucking quit. Sit on your armchair. Say that if you ran the world, things will be better. That's fine. Believe that. You're probably right. But I'm going to keep fighting my ass off for everything I can. Honestly, a lot of normie Dems actually believe in the things leftists believe, especially after the past few years of awful, obvious cruelty. Like, if you listen to Pod Save America, they generally support the same stuff we support, and the intransigence of the center is to even entertain the policies leftists nominally support is actually extremely aggravating to the average loosely plucked in lib voter. Exactly, Coconut Gun. If we're going to win, if AOC is going to be the president, we need that loosely connected lib voter. We have to radicalize those people. We've got to push them to the left. It's called the Overton window. We have to push it left. That's what we're doing. We're doing the work. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes losing and continuing after a loss. If one loss is enough to... Cori Bush lost. Cori Bush lost. Cori Bush lost the first time she ran. You know who else lost the first time he ran? Bernie fucking Sanders. When Bernie Sanders ran the first time in 1972, he got 2.2% of the vote. 2.2% of the vote when he ran the first time. Then he ran again for Senate. Got 4% of the vote. Then he ran for governor, 1% of the vote. So actually it was senator, governor, senator. Then he ran for governor again, 6% of the vote. Well. So he ran in 1976 and he said, where did I do well? And that's when a political science professor contacted Bernie and says, I'm a leftist too. Did you know you did really well in Burlington? You should move to Burlington and run for mayor. I think you could win the mayor's office at Burlington. And that's what he fucking did. He moved to mayor. He moved to Burlington and he ran against a Democrat and he won by 10 fucking votes. The first socialist mayor in decades, 1981. In the middle of the Reagan Revolution, he moved to Burlington. He primaried a fucking Democrat, or he ran in a Democrat as an independent from the left, and he won by 10 fucking votes. 10! That was almost a decade after he started. He started in 1972. He didn't win any office at all until 1981. So Bernie Sanders started his political career. It took him 10 years to win. You're telling me we should fucking give up? Fuck you. You don't know who Bernie is. You don't know what real fucking politics is. If you're going to stamp your feet. How long have you been following politics? Let's be honest. In 1981, Bernie Sanders was 56 years old. 56 years old till he won his first fucking office, man. Is that true? It sounds like you're... I think he was younger than that. I think you're wrong. I think he was younger than that. Then Bernie Sanders ran again. He got challenged by the Republicans and the Democrats, and he won. He won again. And then the Republicans gave up and endorsed the Democrat, and he won again. And he won again. This time, every time the Democratic Party challenged him, every time he was in the mayor's office, he was challenged by the Democrats every fucking time, and he beat them over and over and over and over again. Then he ran for Congress. In 1988, he lost. He lost to the Republican Peter Smith. And then in 1990, Bernie Sanders beat the Republican incumbent and the Democrat at the same time. He ran against the Republicans and the Democrats, and he won. And look what he did to the Democratic Party. Look how cucked the Democratic Party got. They became the third party, 3% of the vote. 1992, Democratic Party, 7.9% of the vote, excuse me. Just cucked after cucked after cuck after cuck race. And you know what? 1994, that was the Contract America. That was the Gingrich Revolution. Bernie Sanders ran against the Republican and gutted out a tight race. Because before Bernie Sanders won his seat in Vermont, the Republicans who used to win Vermont. Vermont was so Republican. Let me show you something. Vermont was so Republican, they voted for Herbert fucking Hoover. They voted for Herbert fucking Hoover. They voted for Alf Landon. They voted for Wendell Willkie. Do you even know who Wendell Willkie is? They voted for Thomas Dewey. And I mean, Vermont didn't vote for a Democrat for president. I mean, I'm trying to find, when did Vermont become Democrat? They voted for Nixon in 60. Okay. Lyndon Baines Johnson was the first time, and he won a gigantic fucking landslide. I mean, because, you know, there you go. Big dick Jumbo over here was the first time. But that was a pretty solidly Republican state. 68, they voted back for the Republican. Nixon twice. McGovern. I mean, obviously. Vermont was a Republican stalwart. It wasn't until Bill Clinton. Well, there was a split. It wasn't until Bill Clinton that they went. They went blue for the first time. And that's when, by the way, chat, that's when Bernie Sanders was there. That was Bernie Sanders' effort. Bernie Sanders came into and he was the one who flipped Vermont. They voted for fucking George H.W. Bush in 1988. It was Bernie Sanders that flipped them to the left. It was Bernie Sanders in 1990 that flipped them. That Republicans held Vermont's congressional seat in 1988. It was Bernie Sanders that flipped it in 1990. I know I'm doing a long historical thing just to explain something to you. That if your horizon is this fucking election or that fucking election, you don't know who Bernie Sanders is.
We can agree on that,
I am
right?
not, yes. You know,
Yeah.
Joe Biden.
Oh
Sorry.
my God.
Okay, what was the clip? Okay.
Is not 100% correct.
Sure. But there are executive actions that he could take.
All right, look,
Student
look.
debt and other things that he could do. We can agree on that.
I am not,
right?
yes. You know,
And by the way, Bernie Sanders is like, what? He said there's stuff that Joe Biden could do. And he wants to talk about the reconciliation bill. What the fuck are you talking about, man? What do you want him to say? Yes, Joe Biden could legalize weed. Joe Biden could cancel student debt. He said it. What the fuck are you talking about?
And Thomas Dewey were liberal Republicans who supported unions. The Republicans were liberal back then.
They were that's not accurate. Red Macintosh. Totally. They didn't support unions in a sense. Unions were just so powerful that they had pro-union rhetoric, but they were not the union. The unions were behind Roosevelt. Clearly they were behind Roosevelt. Yes, but there was something known as a liberal Republican, and you are right about that. And there was Northern Republicans, and there was the Republican Party was heterodox. It absolutely was right, and you're right about that. The state population jumped by 15% in the 70s. It was an intentional movement by leftists to take over the state. Vermont documents 70s shift from conservative to hippie. Aside from the peace signs and food cooperatives, the 1970s influx of long-haired youth to Vermont brought experimental communes to the hillsides and social activism, as well as drug use and the fears of hippie invasion. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Bernie Sanders was part of a movement, and it worked. And now Vermont rules. Okay, but I'm just triggered by this. What the fuck are they talking about? Okay, I'll have to see them actually make an argument.
Oh
Sorry.
my God.
I wasn't trying to. I'm sorry. I didn't realize
That's
that was
hilarious. No, that's really funny. All right. So what do we think of that?
You got to make it full screen so I can see Brianna's eye rolls.
Oh.
I mean, look, I didn't think there was going to be a moment where Bernie Sanders was accusing the left of Green Lantern theory for asking Joe Biden to do executive orders and also for putting the full force behind his campaign promises. You know?
He never said
and
that.
good on Krystal for really sticking the landing there and being firm about, no, actually, here are the things he could literally do with the flick of a pen. Now, whatever Bernie was about to say about don't underestimate the personalities and what happens behind closed doors. I mean, I would like to hear that. Okay, well, help us understand, Senator, because from where we're sitting, there is historical precedent of things people could do. There's a playbook. You don't have to reinvent the wheel as to the methods you can use to apply pressure. To, as Krystal pointed out, sagely, you could do what you said you do in this situation, which is to lead protests to the front lawns of all of the people who are obstructing, and put real people pressure behind them.
By the way, I that's being done. I don't know what to tell you, chat. Unfortunately, it's just not getting the attention that you think it would get. It's being done. Cori Bush is on the Capitol steps right now. The Poor People's Campaign did a whole thing in West Virginia that Bernie supported. I'm sorry, it's being done. It's not getting the attention that you say it would get, but it is being done. It is being tried. But Bernie is also doing the inside work as chairman of the Budget Committee. I mean, like, so here's the thing. It's funny because the stuff is getting done and you're not covering it. I mean, I don't know what to say.
On top of them, you know, I was listening to your excellent interview the other day, Katie, with Dr. Barber.
Yes,
and,
Dr. Barber of the Poor People's Campaign.
That the Poor People's Campaign was able to get a man to move on the issue after they had like marched upon his house or his offices, and that there was like a direct line of result, right? And you know, it's a little frustrating.
So it is happening. And Bernie supported that. I'm confused. This is contradictory. It doesn't make any sense, guys. You can't say that Bernie Sanders is doing sellout shit and then point to the things that Bernie Sanders is doing to try to pressure Joe Manchin outside of the Capitol. What are you talking about, man?
Frustrating to see this heel turn. So either something really dramatic is happening behind the scenes, in which case, why not expose it? Why not, you know, if the folks in Congress are operating against the interests of the people that elected them, of their constituents, and you know about it, it feels like everyone's in a hostage situation, but it's not clear to me what a senior senator like Bernie Sanders has to lose. Just tell us what the crap thing is that someone is doing, name names. And again, trust that people power can help you to exert pressure on them to do the right thing in this moment.
Trust that people power. Okay, Chad, I want you to. So I'm an old organizer. All right. And I'm going to show you when someone's bullshitting you, some of the things they do will say is trust. You do not feed a family on trust. That's bullshit, bruh. You want to tell me to trust your movement? When's the protest? How many people are signed up? How many organizations are with you? What streets? What do you got? Is somebody going to strike for this? Is somebody going to block a highway? Where, how many people? Where, when, what are you talking about? How many phone calls? How many petition signatures? What are you fucking talking about? Trust? Unbelievable.
We are in a crisis with this eviction moratorium about to end. And how many millions of Americans, 6 million Americans is it, that are facing eviction? Like, this is extraordinary. This is extraordinary times. And we're like dithering back and forth with each other about whether or not someone in some closed door behind some closed door is being difficult.
I don't know what to say, man. See, this is the type of man, Steinhoist, thank you for the 5 tier 1. You know, we're legislating. It's a legislating. It's a legislature. It's legislating. I don't know what to tell you, folks. Thank you so much, Steinhoist, for the 5 gifts. It's legislating. It's what it looks like. You know, the campaign is over. Campaigns are fun. Campaigns are the time where you get to talk about what you're going to do when you're going to win. Then the election happens and you deal with the fucking ground. What if we bust all the people getting evicted to the steps of the Capitol with Cori Bush? Hell yeah. I want to do that. This is purely about messaging. Bad Faith as a project has been about trying to better connect the theory, electoralism, and organizers. Well, when you say trust in people power, that's not organizer talk. That's charlatan talk. Show me what you're talking about. The cover of Hear the Burn demonstrates that she idealized him. Okay, I'm not going to do too much I'm not going to personally examine everybody's psychology. I'm just saying that there is a psychological phenomenon called idealization, and it's dehumanizing to the target. I think one of the things, I like Brie, I like Katie, I agree with them a lot of stuff. And this is a shit sandwich. Nina Turner was right. Voting for Joe Biden is half a shit sandwich. Congratulations. We're eating that shit sandwich. I don't like it any more than you do. That's why I dedicated my life to trying to support Bernie Sanders in any way I could. But he didn't make it. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Some of them are our fault. Some of them are his fault. Some of them are the organizations and structures that are against him. But if you try to shit on Bernie or AOC or Ilhan Omar or Cori Bush, the people that are carrying our flag, because they don't have the power that we did not give them, what do you want me to say? Other than, come on, man. Come on. The real shit that's going right now is Nina Turner's race. You had a great analogy a while ago when you said lefties were arguing about what their level 20 characters will be when they're just level 3 right now. Of course, the D&D fucking analogy is the one that worked. Yeah. Exactly. I don't care what kind of min-maxed optimized build you have for your character when they hit level 20. It's level 3 and your ass has just gotten flattened by a fucking goblin. Okay? A goblin with a longsword just one-shot your wizard, okay? Stop telling me about your amazing build. And get off the fucking ground. What do you think about this take? Nerd alert! If Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin didn't exist, corporate Democrats and Joe Biden would invent them. Their entire, oh my god, they're going to pass it, oh my god, kabuki theater bullshit act is just them pretending like it's out of their hands. It isn't. They don't want any of it to pass. All right, so let me say, I like Squirrel Girl. I think Squirrel Girl has a point here, but there's a little bit too much generalization. So I would say they don't want any of it to pass is not accurate. Unless you're saying they, and you're, stop using they and start naming names. Bernie Sanders doesn't want any of it to pass. Does that fit with reality? That is absolute horseshit. There are some politicians that don't want to pass, and some politicians who do want it to pass. There are some politicians who secretly don't want it to pass, but publicly have to say they want it to pass. And there is a different, that's true and not true depending upon who you're talking about. If you're saying the corporate Democrats don't want shit to pass, no fucking shit. But what do you mean by that? Do you mean Senator Brown from Ohio? Do you mean Elizabeth Warren? Who do you mean? So what I'm talking about in particular is called a whip count. A whip count is when you have a piece of legislation, you have to find out whether or not a specific politician will vote yes or no on it. What's your whip count? And the truth is, for every single piece of legislation that's ever been major in this country, people were publicly against it right before they voted for it. It happens all the time. So the question is, so what are we going to do to get this shit done? And listen, I'm not happy. 50 senators is not enough. I was hopeful that the Democrats were going to win in Maine. I was hopeful that the Democrats might win in Iowa. I was hopeful that Democrats might have a chance in these different Senate races around the country that they bungled and lost and failed. I thought they might have a chance of, winning in Florida and keeping their incumbent senator that they lost in 2018. They lost it. So we're hanging on by the skin of our teeth, and Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin are the people that are making this a majority. Time is running out for Republican platforms as Democrats don't work, but at least they could just blame progressives for it. I mean, listen, I'm not happy. I'm not trying to defend these corporate Democrats. I'm just telling you that they don't want any to pass. Depends on who you're talking about. And the thing is, my argument is actually more accurate and more hopeful, because if Kyrsten Sinema doesn't want it to pass, fuck a primary your ass. Dianne Feinstein is going to die. Dianne Feinstein is going to die soon because of her old age. Which means we've got to get someone in there that will support it. The Democratic Party purpose is to neutralize those to its left so it could coalesce with those on the right. Was that true when they passed Social Security? Was that true when they passed Medicare? Was that true when they passed the Civil Rights Act? When people got real concessions, what was that? Was that true? And the answer is, yeah, it was to prevent a other more horrible thing. Maybe you're right about that. But the revolution isn't on the table right now, so I'm trying to get the concessions right now. They were forced by the grassroots to do it. Yeah, you got it. You got it. We do politics here every morning starting at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. You can watch us here on Twitch. We're the morning guy. The morning politics guy. Politics Frogs in every single day. Same time, 10 a.m. Day in, day out. And we carry you through your morning and early afternoon politics needs. And if you need more, Mike from PA, we have a YouTube channel. We talked about suburbs, the My Pillow guy, Ted Cruz. We talked about DSA. Amazing. Making fun of Tim Pool. Amazing. Look at all of these amazing videos. Get in there, watch them. We have me on Twitter. You got to follow me on Twitter, chat. I'm at 20,614 subs. That means I got like 40 followers on Twitter in the last day. You can do better than that. You can do better than that. Go follow us on Twitter. And of course, join the Discord, where we have an incredible community of left-wing streamers. We have left-wing community. We talk about the stream. We talk about politics. There's gaming content. It's a really awesome, supportive place. Direct action, mutual aid. And you can just let off some steam. And also, you can help produce the show. One of the things I do is I look at the links that are put into the news content suggestions chat room on the Discord. Join the Discord, come hang out, and maybe what you want me to talk about will be part of the next show.